Hello and welcome to Parliament Weekly, your home for the biggest, juicy and most important news out of the Nigerian Parliament every week. I am Sharon Ebwesomi. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday presented the 2024 budget estimate of 27.5 trillion naira, which he tagged as the budget of renewed hope. I am sure you all know that this is his very first budget presentation since he assumed office on May 29, 2023. Now, before I go into the presentation of the budget proper, let me briefly tell you what the budget is all about. Now, the budget is the law that outlines how public resources are allocated to ensure the welfare and well-being of citizens and maintain a functional society where law and order is upheld and social services are provided. Now, the budget, which is officially referred to as the Appropriation Bill, is introduced by the executive, approved by the legislature, and signed into law by the president. You get it now, ba? So to learn more about what the budget is all about and why it matters to you as a citizen, then hit our website at orderpaper.ng and read up our explainer on the budget. So now, let's dive into the presentation of the 2024 budget. While presenting the budget before a joint session of the National Assembly, President Tinubu listed some of the priorities of the proposed 2024 budget, which includes Nigeria's national defense and internal security, local job creation, macroeconomic stability, investment environment optimization, human capital development, poverty reduction, and social security. Giving a breakdown of the budget, President Tinubu proposed an aggregate expenditure of 27.5 trillion naira for the federal government in 2024. He stressed that the non-debt recurrent expenditure is 9.92 trillion naira, while debt service is projected to be 8.25 trillion naira and capital expenditure is 8.7 trillion naira, meaning that the projected debt service is 45% of the expected total revenue. Are you still wondering how these funds for the proposed budget to be generated? Well, of course, borrowing. Mr. President already noted that the 2024 budget deficit will be financed by new borrowing totaling 7.83 billion naira and 2.9840 billion naira from privatization proceeds and 1.95 trillion naira drawdown on multilateral and bilateral loans for specific development projects. You don't hear them now, ba? So,
based on logistics.
Sorry, I mean based on statistics. Ngwanu, take out your pen and jotter. Let us do our analysis together. In 2019, former President Muhammadu Buhari presented a proposed budget of 10.33 trillion naira for 2022, and the National Assembly approved 10.59 trillion naira. Chilo, I'm just getting started. Now, in 2022, he presented a budget of 13.8 trillion naira for 2021, and the National Assembly approved 13.588 trillion naira. You see, say you don't rise like waiting the employees for inside, ba? Hold on. In 2021, he proposed a budget of 16.39 trillion naira for 2022, and the National Assembly approved 17.137 trillion naira. In 2022, he presented a budget of 20.51 trillion naira for 2023, and the National Assembly approved 21.83 trillion naira. And now, this year, 2023, President Tinubu has presented a budget of 27.5 trillion naira. So even though we are waiting for the National Assembly to consider the budget proposal, we are almost certain that the approval will not be lower than what the President has asked for. I dare the National Assembly to prove me wrong. Now, my question is, with all these continuous increases, has it increased the standard of living as citizens? Well, you and I sure know the answer to that question, because earlier this year, the United Nations Children Emergency Fund estimated the total number of out-of-school children to be over 20 million. Also, according to the World Poverty Clock, out of over 220 million people living in Nigeria, about 71 million are living in extreme poverty, which is over 32% of the population already. Even the National Bureau of Statistics noted that in the first quarter of this year, the rate of unemployment was at 4.1% after a data recalibration exercise that many people still don't understand. If we really want to be honest with ourselves, then it is very clear that every year the budget continues to increase and then the standard of living continues to decrease drastically. So what are we actually budgeting for? Well, speaking further, President Tinubu said that the government is currently reviewing tax and fiscal policies as its target is to increase the ratio of revenue to GDP from less than 10% currently to 18% within the term of his administration, adding that it will make efforts to further contain financial leakages through effective implementation of key public financial management reforms. According to him, after a careful review of global oil market trends, an oil price benchmark of $77.96 per barrel, a day oil production estimate of 1.78 million barrels per day, and an exchange rate of 750 naira to $1 were adopted for 2024. He also said that the government will focus on ensuring that citizens get value of their money, greater transparency, and accountability as the economy is expected to grow by a minimum of 3.76% above the forecasted world average, while the inflation is expected to moderate to 21.4% in 2024. Well, after the presentation of the budget, here are what some of the lawmakers said while reacting to the budget, while speaking to other paper.
To be honest with you, I believe that the government have they have a means of the means through which they are going to pay back most of all those debts that we are borrowing. You know, and as you know, if your children cannot be hungry, then you will say that because you have already gotten some things from somebody you have not paid, that the children will continue to die in hunger. It's not possible. And that is one of the things, if you watch the government is doing everything possible to touch the level of the people. Like most of all those supplementary budget and so on and so on that you're talking about. Most of the time, those things, those money were taken in order to do what? To do social investment.
Well, proposal was a budget of hope, a renewed hope budget. It was centered mainly on people, people's people's budget. It's people oriented, and I believe that this is Nigeria people's budget because the president centered this budget mostly on students, and he said they will be focused more on children, the foundation of our nation. There has never been a budget like this since my life that I've seen budget presentation all along. And I believe that this budget is a budget of hope that will be able to renew the hope of Nigerians indeed and in truth.
Mr. President just left the chambers after presenting the 2024 appropriations to the joint session. And the budget itself is tagged renewed hope. So that tells a lot about the budget. But you see, the essence of budget is an estimate. It's a proposal on what you intend to do. And definitely, the first challenge we are having in this country is security, food, and insurgency. Insurgency is a major problem.
So, to get more information on the budget and lots more, do well to check out our website at otherpaper.ng or on our social media handles displayed on your screen right now. I'll see you next week.